Hello and welcome to Halloween. Today is Halloween and we are delving into the spooky vibes to celebrate this awesome holiday. To start everything off, I needed to find a really nice spot in the terrain. And color-wise, nothing really fits with the Halloween theme, except for maybe the dry patches in the Badlands. But when I reached this place, I thought about actually just transforming the entire mountain ranges of the Mesa biome, which looks actually really good with all the black and grey around. And so with the pumpkin, the spice and everything nice, I decided to build a massive pumpkin and put a village inside of it. I'm not sure what that has to do with Halloween, but I think it really works and it turns out absolutely fantastic. I had to consider what I was going to build first, the pumpkin or the village. Really just the chicken or the egg scenario. I ended up choosing the village inside, and these are the first walls going in. Of course, they won't stay boring and grey like this. This is just to get the shaping right and the feeling of the space. Now is the time to make the build look a lot better by texturing all the walls. I made sure to start the base layers of the building with a darker, deeper color with deep slate and cyan terracotta, moving up slightly more stone variants and tough mixed in to give a bit of those grey factors to reach to the top of each building with more lighter colors like the smooth stone and the mushroom stem. None of these colors stand out massively, but they should give a visual representation of how high they are on the buildings. Then the next step is to really spruce up these walls by adding in lots of windows and some doors on the lower levels. I decided on not making the building see-through as that would look really weird from a distance. So with some frog lights in the back, this does give off a very nice lighting ambience to the build. I made all the window frames out of wood, spruce wood to be exact, with trapdoors, slabs and stairs, also fences in the middle to give that classic old wooden shape to the windows. Although the windows do very much look alike, I made sure to differ them in size and length to give the build a more interesting appeal. Next thing going on are the roof lines of each build. I started off by adding a little spruce wood fence underneath to give the ridge of the roof. After I will be adding some black stone roofs in with a steeper shape up to give that old spooky haunted house vibe look. All the roofs look slightly off by now, but when I add some detail on top of them and all the dormers in, this will really start coming together. This video is slightly differing from the other content I put on my channel, as I normally build in a survival world where I've been creating massive epic kingdoms throughout, but with today a side project in creative to fill the holiday cheer. Talking about the dormers, now they are going in. You can easily see how much such a little dormer does to the roof line. Also later in the build, this will pop out more light higher on the buildings, which will look really good. To just slightly pimp the surface look of the build, I'm adding in a bit of pavement on the ground, just to give a better visual idea of how it's gonna be. I've also made sure to put in plenty of street lanterns. Now it is time to make the pumpkin. So I went on Google looking for what kind of design. Oh!
What the hell is even that?
And I found my design. Not a very creepy one, but it will be some more of a circular shape, not an entire sphere. I was really struggling with getting it right, as the top and bottom parts of the pumpkin need to be a bit more flat. A pumpkin is more of an oval rather than a perfect ball shape. Now just an egg shape floating in midair doesn't look very appealing. So now it's time to bring in the fun part of Halloween, carving in that pumpkin. I made the eyes look a bit sloped, so in a way it looks very angry. Also the mouth with his grinny teeth laugh will really improve the spooky vibes of it. Great. And of course a pumpkin is not a perfect ball, it also really requires a stem up top. Now I struggled a bit with this stem as I made it way too small in the beginning. It already looks quite big from up top here, but the pumpkin is so massive, it definitely needed a bit more girth to it. So going in for round 2, running the world edit once around, a second time and even a third time at the base to make it even more thick. Later on I smoothed everything over and adapted the texture of the stem. Please don't mind the mess in the background. And now it is finally time to bring these two places together. The pumpkin placed into the center of this area and putting the village inside of it. By putting the village inside the mouth of the pumpkin, I can finally see how it's gonna look from up front. And with that, I noticed that the nose is really not showing anything. So to show something poking through, I added a little clock tower with of course a clock up top to give a more appealing look from up front. This will be seen through the nose of the pumpkin. Also, like I mentioned before, it's now time to put in these side buildings into the cheeks of the pumpkin. That sounds really weird, but this way I can make it all fit. It's just the same building copied over again, but with a slightly different configuration, so it's really not that noticeable. And the same has to of course happen on the other side, with a lot of patchwork to make everything look nice and fitting together. That I can't copy over with World Edit. Like mentioned before, the floor level can finally go in because it's fitted around the pumpkin now.
Well.
It's time to put in the well. Just a little detail added to this village. There's no functionality and you can't probably see it from the ground up, but we'll all know it's there. Now with World Edit it was a bit difficult to get a thicker outer layer of the pumpkin, but the 1 block thickness for such a sized pumpkin looked a bit weird from around the eye sockets, nose and mouth. So I'm backing it up with another line of blocks, and I can also fortunately add a line of glowstone behind it to light up its eyes, nose and mouth. I thought the pumpkin could add just a bit of extra detail up the top, as it only has its stem up above. It really looked a bit empty. So I'm adding in a little spider on this side of the pumpkin. And I struggled with it a lot. I'd never built a spider before in Minecraft, not a realistic one anyway. Not sure if this is realistic, but just on an angle as well, that made it really difficult. But I decided on the pumpkin not being square like the Minecraft one, so the spider shouldn't be the Minecraft variant also. Now with that in, it's finally time to paint the surroundings a little bit. I wanted to make a little bit of a green patch with a lot of cobwebs and a bit of lighting around underneath the pumpkin to connect it better to the ground and also give a pop of green color. Otherwise everything looks way too black and grey, contrasted way too harshly with the orange of the pumpkin. And building the green all the way around really transforms this build. Now I felt a little bit bad for the pumpkin, so I'm giving it a little bit of a companion. This in the form of a black cat. Or better said, it will be a tuxedo cat. As the pumpkin is very large and the spider up top is also huge, I thought it would be best to also put in a very big variant of cat. Now at first I wanted to make a black cat as that really fits in with the Halloween theme, but with all the black and grey around, I thought it blended in a bit too much with the background. Hence why I added a bit of white on his belly and his paws to make it a tuxedo cat. And I think that totally works. Now it is time to add the final part to the build, and that's to add a bit of trees and foliage all around. Normally I don't do too many custom trees as that takes way too long, but with World Edit I can just create 1 or 2 variants of them and spam them all over the place. And that is it, we are done with this Halloween themed build. I think it looks really creepy, especially running through the fog at night. This really makes the build look very daunting. But also in the daytime it really owns its screen time. Thank you very much for watching this Halloween themed build. I really hope you enjoyed it and I would love to hear what you thought. Thanks again for watching and have a nice holiday.